Greetings friends, I'm Mike Dixon, the Fit Farmer.
And I'm Lacie Dixon.
And we left city life to pursue setting up a homestead out here in the country. And when we left the city and we started setting up our homestead, everyone was super excited, super enthusiastic about doing whatever needed to be done on the homestead. Whether it was pulling weeds or feeding chickens, everyone kind of wanted to pitch in. But over the years, as we faced different challenges and as we had to do so much work in setting up this homestead, a lot of that has waned. And we've had to deal with animal deaths, we've had to deal with endless amounts of chores, whether it be feeding the ducks, the chickens, the dogs, the cats, as well as
harvesting and planting and, you know, everything that goes along with having a garden. And not only that, but you have marketing for your business, and it's just an endless list of things to do.
Yeah, that garden is a lot of work too. From starting seed, to pulling weeds, to prepping beds. There's a lot there. As well as dealing with critics, people thinking that you're crazy for doing what you're doing and starting a homestead. Well, they're like, I don't understand that. Why would they want to do that? This on top of also dealing with the aches and the pains and the injuries that come from doing all this physical work. It's like, are we crazy for doing this? Do we really want to do this? Why don't we just get rid of all these animals? And why don't we just go get a normal job in the city? Stop this crazy homesteading thing. Makes me ask myself, do we still want to be homesteaders? Do you still want to be a homesteader? I don't know. But back in the fall, we were at the Homesteaders of America Conference, and we went around asking fellow homesteading YouTubers why they homestead. And the first person I talked with was Kathleen at Mama Grows. Why are you a homesteader? What has drawn you to the homesteading life?
I guess it's the sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Sufficiency, self-sufficiency, food safety.
Yeah, and that's kind of some of the reasons why we started homesteading too, was wanted to provide healthier food for our family.
Yeah, and food that we know who grew it. We knew where it came from. And the food safety aspect, you know, that is another really good reason to homestead.
Sure is. We also had a chance to chat with Jake and Becky from White House on the Hill. And here's what they had to say. Why do you homestead? Why? I'm sure that's why you're here, is because you're homesteaders, but yep. Why?
We wanted to change everything we were doing. We were living in the city, we were working lots of jobs, and didn't like the direction we were taking with our life. We saw some documentaries like Food Inc., things like that, and we just wanted to get closer to our food and learn where our food came from. And that really started us down the path of, let's see what we can grow ourselves. We started getting chickens, and then everything went crazy from after we got a few chickens. What about you? Why do we do what we do?
That's about the same thing. We just like growing our own food, raising the chickens, and having fresh eggs, and having fresh chicken. And the garden, we're getting a little bit more into the garden. We're not as good as we can be, but we're just learning as we go, so it's always been fun.
Yeah, it's just fun to just experiment and see what we can figure out on our own, what we can grow on our own, use YouTube to help teach us things we don't know, and then just get to share it with people all over the world.
And yeah, we were like Jake and Becky too. We wanted to have chickens, and for me, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. There were city ordinances where we lived that wouldn't allow chickens. So I was like, that's it, I want to raise chickens, and they won't allow, we're leaving.
Yeah, and Food Inc. was another documentary that we watched that was really eye-opening, and that's another reason.
Yeah, sure was. That was the first time I was exposed and got to see Joe South, and I became a huge fan of his after that. Also, we had the chance to talk with Kenny and Courtney at Life on Beagle Road. So you're here at a Homesteaders Conference, so that means you must be homesteaders, right?
We must be.
It must be, yeah.
And
yeah.
Why are you homesteaders?
Well, originally we started out because my son can't drink cow's milk. So we decided that, well, Courtney really wanted goats since she was a little kid, and then all of a sudden we had a reason to get goats since our son couldn't have cow's milk. And then for me, I got Lyme disease from ticks in our yard, so we decided, why not get chickens? Because that'll help get rid of the ticks.
So basically we're accidental homesteaders.
Yeah.
You know, we bought some pet goats, we got some chickens to eat ticks, and next thing you knew we were building chicken tractors and trying to breed goats and milking goats, and we're like, huh.
It's a slippery slope. Once you get those chickens, it's a slippery slope.
It is, and it's tough when you start eating food that you're growing to think about then going back to eating food that you don't know where it comes from.
Right.
All right, we didn't necessarily become accidental homesteaders. It was definitely intentional. However, we have dealt with intolerances and allergies like Kenny and Courtney.
Yeah, I really don't tolerate wheat very well, or milk, or nightshades, or the list goes on of things that bother me. But and I've been an ingredient list reader for a number of years, but learning more and more things that bothered me, that even made me more vigilant about what I eat. So, you know, that's part of why we became homesteaders too.
Yep, and here is Rachel from 1870s Homestead on why they homestead. Why are you a homesteader to begin with? What has driven you to the life of homesteading?
I think a lot of things, and I would center it on two aspects. One would be taking ownership of our family's things that we need to sustain our livelihood. So whether that's food or any type of products that we would consume from major commercial industries. And some of that stemmed from understanding, just becoming educated about how the food made big ag was being generated, and it didn't make me feel good about what I was consuming or feeding my family. But then the second thing that really drove me is the whole idea of zero waste and leaving a smaller footprint, changing the world for a better future for future generations. So our homestead focuses on more of while we're self-sufficiency, really not bringing any products into the home that we could produce on our homestead. So focusing on, you know, our cleaning products that we make, and as well as our food consumables.
When we first started homesteading, I can't say that thinking about zero waste was a big motivating factor. However, as we've been homesteaders, thinking about the waste and what we consume, and just the fact of being a consumerist, or the consumerism mindset, is definitely something I've been thinking of more and more, and thinking of being more minimalist. But here's what Ariel said at Phi Ninth. For those people who don't know, you also homestead in a tiny home. Why do you homestead, and why have you chosen to live in a tiny home as you homestead?
Mine kind of went in the backwards order. I moved into a tiny home because I live in the mountains of northern Wyoming, which is pretty rural, but in my community, being close to some national parks and stuff, land and housing is crazy expensive. And so I ended up in a tiny home as my solution to not have to leave the area entirely, because I could afford no other housing. Then the tiny home allowed me, and the awesome spot I was able to find to park it, allowed me time and stuff to do a big garden, and the more of that I did, the more I was like, this is really what I enjoy and what I want to gear the rest of my life toward being able to do more of, more permanently.
That's pretty neat about Ariel moving into her tiny home, and economics being a major factor for doing it. And it was for us too, but we also wanted to downsize. You wanted to have a smaller area that you could manage and not having to worry about so many rooms to keep clean.
We had 2,600 square feet, and we just were not using that space. We spent time in our family room, our kitchen, and the bedroom, and that was it. And the bathroom, throw that in there. So now we live in less than a third of what we lived in, and we have an extra person now.
We sure do.
So it was really important to us that we just be more responsible with our space, I think.
So they definitely covered a lot of the major reasons why I homestead. Another one that I would like to add, and it's a major one for me, is I want to live a life that is more connected with my family. I wanted us to be able to just share life together like they used to back in the day when they would have their homesteads and they would garden together, they would work with the animals together, and they would just spend the bulk of their day together. And that's what invigorates me, and that's what motivates me and inspires me during those times that I'm down and I have to keep reminding myself of why I'm a homesteader. It is so special to me when I have the kids out there and they're working with me in the garden and they're doing these things, and it's like, that is what it's about. So that's one of the reasons why I homestead. What about you? What is one of the main things for you that you have to remind yourself of as a homesteader?
I think it ties in with what you were saying. Teaching our children skills and learning skills for ourselves. And you know, now kids don't learn these things. Kids don't learn how to garden, how to grow their own food, how to provide for themselves. And it's really important. You know, used to, you would learn from your parents or grandparents how to do these things, but if your parents don't do that, then who are you going to learn from? And I think it's helping our children become connected to the land, and that's really important to me. So that's another reason.
So I don't think these reasons are enough. I'm done. No more homesteading. Burp! Just kidding. I plan on continuing the homestead as long as I am able, as long as I'm breathing. So don't plan on quitting. Throughout all these challenges, I still plan on keep going because they just refine the character, hopefully make me a better person. And I want to thank those of you, our fellow YouTubers, who participated in this vlog. Thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing because you're doing some great things.
And a big thank you to Michelle and her husband over at Farm Life Outfitters for tagging us in this challenge. We really appreciate you thinking about us, and it's nice to participate. We also want to thank Rose at Wholesome Roots. She's the one that started this whole challenge. So we want to thank you, Rose. And if you haven't checked out their channel, we want you to go and do that. I'm going to leave everybody's links in the show notes below so you can check out all these different channels.
Also, make sure you get your tickets now for the Homesteaders of America Conference 2019. You can come meet us as well as the other YouTubers. There's early bird discounts, so make sure you take advantage of them now. And also, the hotels book up pretty quickly, so get those too. Well, that's it for this vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time, and remember, grow on. And here are just a few clips from our time at the Homesteaders of America Conference. Why are you here at the Homesteaders of America Conference?
About to leave, already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.
I'm here kind of as a mommy vacation. Isn't that funny, to get a little bit of away, meet with some girlfriends, other YouTube channels. So yeah, it's really fun to meet other YouTube channels.
I like just meeting everybody. It's fun walking around and somebody recognizes you or just says hi. It's just a community. It's just fun. I love seeing people and meeting people.
Yeah, it's fun if people know who you are. Yeah.
I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me.
We wanted to learn a few things, but ultimately we wanted to meet all the folks that we've talked to for the last year since we started our channel, and just say hello. Guys like you, we've never met in person. Now we have. I can't believe we are all here.
So what a better place to come where there's a large gathering of people that are interested and want to learn the same things that I want to learn. And there were some really great speakers.
This is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free.
few speakers here I really wanted to see, including Eustace Conway, because I'd read a book about him a long time ago, and I just thought his life story was amazing. And there's lots of other people here who have the same interests, so it's a ton of fun to get to run into all of those people.
What does it take to be number 1? 2 is not a winner, and 3 nobody remembers.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Greetings, friends. I'm Mike Dixon, the Fit Farmer.
And I'm Lacie Dixon.
And we left city life to start a homestead out here in the country. And where was I going?
I don't know.
Try it again.
Hello. Hello.
Does it help
hello.
if I have my hat like that?
Oh, that helps a lot.
What does it think then?
Woo!
All right, serious.
Yes, yes.
Flip it back around. All right. And yeah, we were like Jake and Becky too. One of the things that prompted me to really, and prodded me to leave the city, was the city wouldn't allow chickens on
Our property.
Yeah, come on, Mike.
Come on, Mike.
Woo! Here we go.
You can do
I got it. So what if I recorded like this each time and time?
Yeah. Looks
Like,
nice, huh?
Is something wrong with his neck?
Man.
Just a little
I
bit.
gotta move back here so my head doesn't look so big next to you. Look at that. It looks like my head is huge. Let me come back here. Like, oh look.
Greetings, friends.
Hey,
How you doing?
welcome.
I'm Mike, the Fit Farmer.
I'm Lacie.
Hurt my neck out on the farm. Just gotta raise it up.
You're such a dork. You're such a dork.
When we first started off, come on, get that frog out of there. Yeah, there we go. Selah.